Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with episode 5 of The Mandalorian Season 3, titled The Foundling. Guys, this episode was freaking amazing. This episode was fire. This was probably like peak Star Wars. I definitely think that, I needed this episode after last week's episode Snooze Fest. I mean, mind you, I loved the beginning of last week's episode. I loved the ending of last week's episode, but that middle part with Dr. Pershing and the comms officer, that shit was such a snoozer. I did not care about that crap. So to have this episode, which I was really hoping that we really would focus on Din, Grogu, and Bo-Katan in this episode and how the other Mandalorians, because I love the way we ended last week's episode of kind of like Bo-Katan officially like, being accepted in that creed because she saved Din from the waters of Mandalore, like, from the, like saved him from the waters, and she kind of like essentially like got like, she got like reborn essentially in the waters of Mandalore, and she was accepted into the creed and or back accepted kind of, being able to be a Mandalorian again, at least the way they roll by their ways of being the Mandalorian. So I really loved this episode because we start off this episode where they're on the beachfront, you know what I mean? And all the Mandalorians are training right now. And I thought that was really cool because I couldn't tell, honestly, if it was like a flashback, but it clearly wasn't when I saw Bo-Katan. I was like, okay, this isn't a flashback sequence. This is right now. It kind of looked goofy to me that they were training on the beachfront. I kind of like took me out a little bit. I was like, this is kind of weird that they're training on the beachfront right now. I think it would have looked a lot cooler if they actually had a place to do it. Like, I'm talking like an actual, like, if they did it on Mandalore, that shit would have looked probably sick as shit. But I was like, this kind of looks goofy, them trading on the beachfront. But, like, there is a lot of Mandalorians, and I did not notice that until this episode, because in last week's episode, I couldn't tell if there was a lot of Mandalorians that were a part of this creed or not. Like, I couldn't tell how many there were. Until we saw this episode, like, the whole beachfront was pretty packed full of Mandalorians. I thought it was cool. Also, I thought it was sick that, while everybody's training right now, we have Grogu training, and he's like trying to like, is like he's messing with rocks. And I was like, okay, it looks like he was kind of like levitating rocks a little bit, but I don't think he was levitating the rocks. Actually, I think they were just like crabs moving, and I knew that they were crabs once I saw the rocks stop. I was like, okay, that's a crab. And I did love how Din wants Grogu to train, wants him to kind of like train with the other foundlings, and I loved that. And we end up getting like introduced to the same foundling that we met in episode 1 that almost got eaten by that like crocodile creature. It was cute because Grogu was like, he was put up against that other foundling, and the weapon of choice was the darts, and the darts are like they're wrist gauntlets that shoot out the darts, but instead of shooting out the darts, it's training darts, so they shoot out paintballs. And it was really adorable when Bo put the kind of wrist gauntlet on Grogu and said, oh, you know what I mean, you have nothing to worry about, your father is just proud of you, you know what I mean, so you got this. I thought that was really adorable. Bo-Katan kind of reminds me of like, she's kind of the mother of Grogu, while like Din is like the father of Grogu. And I've been saying that I ship this couple of Din and Bo-Katan together. I ship it. I think it would be cute. I think it would be kind of like they would have their own family, and Grogu being their son. I ship it. I don't know if I'm the only one out there that ships it and sees that they kind of have like some kind of love connection there, but I see it, and I'm here for it. And I loved the moment where like Grogu. I even said like, if this kid hurts Grogu, so help me God, I'd have to take out that kid. I'd be like, you can't hurt my son like that. Like, damn. So the fact of it is that when he got shot with 2 little like paintballs, Grogu, and then Din's like, you got this. I know you got this. And then Grogu was flipping around the kid back and forth and got down and shot the kid like 3 times and won, because it's a point system. How many times you get to you land a shot on the other person depends on who gets the win. I guess whoever lands 3 shots wins. And Grogu won. I thought that was adorable. But the one foundling that ended up getting beat ends up getting captured by this big kind of pterodactyl bird. And essentially, this isn't the first time that like foundlings and kind of mandos have been picked up by this creature. Because I mean, this isn't the only creature on this planet. We know that big crocodile creature is in the water, but I totally forgot about that crocodile creature. But that crocodile creature comes back later in this episode, which was super funny as shit. the way that crocodile creature ends up coming back. So pretty much as of right now, they end up like there's a big chase sequence trying to get this foundling away from this bird. It was the coolest chase sequence I've ever seen with Mandalorians with jetpacks. The angles, the shots. I can't get over how peak the shots have been with flying this season. The flying shots have been insane. And to see these Mandalorians try to catch up to this big pterodactyl bird was probably some of the coolest shit I've seen in Star Wars in a very long time. Of course they fail because the jetpacks run out of fuel. But I was like, okay, that was still the coolest shit I've ever seen before. So Bo-Katan pretty much comes up with an idea of coming up with like a rescue mission to save that foundling. And I thought it was really cool. I love how the armor is like communicating with Bo-Katan. It feels like they're all like civil and they're all like being like they're all like just like a creed, a brotherhood. I love it. I love the vibes right now that they're all kind of getting along. And I'm happy for Bo-Katan for her to be back in a creed and kind of her being accepted back into the Mandalorian culture. And she's kind of like, you know, she's one with the way. She knows that this is the way. I'm loving it. I'm loving that she kind of is like understanding that, you know what I mean? I feel like it's all because she saw the great mythosaur, or saw a mythosaur. You know, she's kind of been on this journey of, you know, kind of knowing that this is the way of being being a Mandalorian. And I'm loving that she's kind of like, she saw that one thing that like set her on the path of being, you know, a part of this creed and being a Mandalorian again, at least the way they think the Mandalorian should be. So I'm loving it. I'm loving this right now, is that, you know, Bo-Katan is coming up with this big like mission to save this foundling, and everybody's on board, and she gets to run the mission, and she's the one that was able to like figure out where the nest was because she took her ship, which I thought was really cool and clever, that she took the ship while they went on flying. And she knew that the jetpacks wouldn't hold up all the way, you know what I mean, because that creature was too fast. So I love as she gets to lead the mission, and Mando and all the other, like, you know, Mandalorians are like, you know, she gets to assemble a crew where like Din ends up going, the other dude Mandalorian ends up going that Din like fought with the Darksaber in season 2, or not season 2, but it was in the Boba Fett episode when he was training, you know, with the Darksaber, and, you know, like he had to end up going to the mines because the armor found out about his transgressions, about him taking off the helmet and all that bullshit. But I really did love how like they were a part of a unit to go save the foundling. I thought that was really cool. But little do they know when they get up there that there's like 3 little, you know, pterodactyl birds up there. I'm calling them pterodactyls because it's like they're the size of a pterodactyl, so I'm gonna call them that, and they kind of look like that. It's like, yeah, I feel like that's the closest bird I can think of, but like it's a Star Wars version of a pterodactyl. I don't know the creature name. If you know the creature's name, drop it down in the comments below. But like, I loved it. I thought it was really cool seeing that big chase sequence again, but this time they're kind of shooting like their wires from their like wrist gauntlets at the pterodactyl, trying to kind of like, you know, twist it up so that way it will drop down to the ground. And mind you, we end up finding out that one of the Mandalorians that end up coming on the mission to save the foundling, and that Mandalorian apparently is the Mandalorian. He's the father of that foundling, and we don't know that until he ends up going into the nest. While, you know, Bo is like, let's scout this before you go in there. Yeah, we don't see the mother, but like, yeah, yes, we don't see the creature, but like we don't know what's in here. Like, let's scout it and make sure it's okay to go in here. But he ends up saying, like, it's my son. I'm gonna go look for my son. And he ends up getting taken. The foundling ends up getting taken again. And like I said, there's like a whole big chase sequence of Mandalorians trying to like take down this big bird, trying to wrap it up with like the wires and shit. I thought that was sick. But the coolest moment had to have been when Din ends up saving the kid, but the kid like knocks the kid out from like the bird's grasp, and speed like flies to get the kid, gets the kid in time, ends up flying away. And ends up getting the final wire to make that bird just drop to the ground. But when the bird drops to the ground, like it drops in the water, guess what ends up happening? That creature from episode 1 of season 3, that crocodile creature, ends up just like demolishing and eating that one bird. And I thought it was really funny because Bo-Katan ends up getting those like 3 like baby pterodactyl birds and ends up gifting them to the armorer, which I thought was funny. Those birds were actually cute, not gonna lie. I was like, because of the big eyes, I thought they looked cute. Yeah, of course they were like featherless, but I thought they were still cute though. So I don't know. I thought that was really cute, and I thought it was really awesome that the armorer was like said that this is the way. You know, this is a big deal that you led this mission and it was a success. I just love the respect that the armorer was giving Bo-Katan. I'm loving everything for Bo-Katan right now. It's great. I'm loving that she kind of has like it's essentially like a family. This Creed's a family, and I'm loving it. I'm kind of loving that she's loving the way. It's sick. I'm just having a blast with this show. Honestly, it's great. And definitely the best part is that she ends up getting the signia of the mythosaur on her other shoulder, because she ends up losing one of her I think it's called the night owl signia badge, like shoulder armor piece. She ends up losing it in the fight, and that's when she says, "Can I have my night owl? Can I rock the night owl crest and also rock the mythosaur crest at the same time?" She's like, any Mandalorian is allowed to rock essentially the mythosaur crest. Like it's fair use for the Mandalorians. And I feel like that's also, she ends up telling the armor, like, what if I saw a mythosaur? And she's like, oh, that makes you see things when you go in the waters. The waters want you to see things. And she's like, no, like, well, I actually saw a mythosaur. And the armor wasn't believing it, and we know damn well the only way these Mandalorians are gonna believe that the mythosaurs exist is that Bo-Katan and Din are gonna have to go back to Mandalore and get that mythosaur out that water and take it back to this planet if she wants to rule things, because I think whoever gets to control the mythosaur gets to control all the Mandalorians, if I'm being honest, because Mandalore the Great was the one that got to control the Great Mythosaur. So I think that's kind of hand in hand. She kind of thinks that, like, maybe I can run this shit. You know what I mean? I feel like she kind of has her own agenda. We don't really know what it is. I feel like the agenda is she wants to lead, and she figured me joining this creed, eventually I'm going to be able to lead it. I think maybe that's what she thinks. I hope she's not trying to do a coup where she wants to take out the armorer and wants to run this and control the Mandalorians. I hope that's not what we're doing. I hope she's not the villain. I'll be pissed if they somehow kind of make it where, like, it's a coup and she tries to go against, like, tries to kill the armor and try to take over that creed. I'll be pissed. I don't think that's what she wants to do, but I do think she wants to lead. At least that's what I think. I'm just excited. I'm all in. This is the episode I needed. Like I said, guys, it was a snooze last week's episode. I was falling asleep, but when they did that jump to the Mandalorian planet and we were all there through the middle half with Dr. Pershing and that comms officer, I was Betty Pies. I was getting ready to take a nap. And this is what I needed to get me back on board with this season. I definitely think that this is the best episode of the season by far. Definitely. The shots in this episode were fire. The action in this episode was fire. What a simple episode, but what a sick episode. Like that, it doesn't take too much to make us Star Wars fans happy. You give us cool fly sequences with Mandalorians, you got me. You give me a cute sequence with Grogu getting some Mandalorian gear on, the wrist gauntlet, and then he gets his own, like, mythosaur chest plate while they're going off to do that, while they're off doing that, save the youngling mission while he's there, getting some cool armor chest plate that has the mythosaur on it. That's fire. No one else has that. Grogu is cool as shit. That's why he gets that. You know what I mean? Like, he's gotta rock that sick ass bling. So not only that, but, like, we got to have his backstory in this episode. We kind of now know who saved Grogu from the Jedi Temple. I have no clue what the Jedi's name was, but he was nice, though. He was nice with those lightsabers. He definitely was trained on using 2 lightsabers because he was fluid, too. He said, yeet, yeet, you guys aren't shit. Like, that's what he was doing the entire time in this episode. Like, in that flashback sequence while, like, the armor was making his chest plate. And I guess he was kind of, like, in a way, I feel like it was kind of trauma for Grogu to kind of tap in at that moment when, like, he was hearing the hammering of the armor. But, like, I'm glad that we kind of get to know now who saved Grogu, but what we still have yet to find out who really, who really executed this mission of saving the Foundlings and saving Grogu, or saving the younglings and saving Grogu. Like, who made that mission? We don't know. Who is this Jedi, and who sent this Jedi, and where's this Jedi taking Grogu? We don't know. These are still questions I think we will probably get later in the season, at least I hope. Because I'm not going to lie, my heart stopped when we saw that green lightsaber open. I didn't know who it was for a minute. Weirdly enough, I thought it was going to be... what's his face? I'm trying to remember bro's name. Why can't I remember his name? Samuel L. Jackson's character, I can't remember on the top of my head. Even though he rocks a purple lightsaber, but as we all know, his hand got cut off. So I was like, okay, you could have just picked up a green lightsaber. You never know. I honestly thought it was going to be Mace Windu. Like I said, guys, like my brain's kind of fried. It's like 3:51 a.m. I just got done watching the episode. But, like, I honestly, my heart stopped. I thought it was going to be Mace Windu. That was going to be on the other side of that, like, elevator door. I think they kind of missed an opportunity, but you never know. Maybe that that one Jedi is going to take him to go see Mace Windu. You never know. Because we all know that Nick Fury. We all know that Samuel L. Jackson wants to come back as Mace Windu, and he said that Mace Windu most likely survived that fall because Jedis fall from great heights all the time and survive. You never know. They might kind of make that canon and make it that Mace Windu survives, and kind of we get to see that. That'd be fire. I would love that. But I honestly don't know what they're going to do going forward. All I know is that this episode was peak. Definitely the best episode of the season so far. I can't wait to see what they do going into episode 6, because this was 5. So I'm really pumped. I can't wait to see what they do in episode 6? Yeah. No, this was episode 4. In episode 5. I can't wait to see what they do in episode 5. It's going to be sick. I think it can only go up from here. As long as we stay away from the whole Dr. Pershing shit and the comms officer and whatever the hell's going on with that, I think it will be okay. Because honestly, if we get any more episodes like that, I think I might honestly flip out. Because people were defending that episode, which I can't believe you could defend that trash middle half of the Mandalorian. People said that's setting up stuff. I'm like, okay, but like it's setting up the sequel shit about the whole Dr. Pershing. His specialty is cloning. You're setting up Snoke and you're setting up Palpatine. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I try to blank out the sequels. The only sequel I like is Force Awakens. That's the only one I can stand. And I feel like that's me saying a lot because I can't stand the moment where like Kylo Ren kills Han. Still think that was the worst mistake they could have done in Star Wars, personally. But it is what it is. So I feel like that's the only. So if anybody that likes the sequels, I feel like anybody that was defending that most likely likes the sequels because that's what they were trying to set up with Dr. Pershing, going forward with the cloning process and all that shit. Because we know that they're trying to canonize the sequels. I don't know why Dave Filoni or John Favreau and Dave Filoni want to do that, but clearly they want to do that for some goddamn reason. I don't know. But other than that, great episode. Can't wait for episode 5. Let me know down in the comments below, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you guys like this episode? Did you guys not like this episode? Do you guys think it's the best episode of the season so far? Let me know, and let me know your theories for going forward in episode 5. And like I said, guys, if you are new here and you come across my spoiler review for this episode, know that I do watch parties every Wednesday at 2 a.m. for The Mandalorian Season 3. I do watch parties. We're here every Wednesday at 2 a.m. We talk about pretty much whatever before the episode starts. And after the episode, usually we all talk about the episode and what we liked about the episode. And also, if you do happen to be in the live streams, don't be afraid to talk. Let me know how your day is. Let me know what you guys are mostly looking forward to in the episode that we're going to be watching. Let me, if you guys know some news about whatever, let me know about like whether it's news about Marvel, whether it's news about DC, whether it's news about anything in movie entertainment or show entertainment. Let's talk. I want this to be a place where we all get to talk and talk about the things that we love, and a place that we can all kind of like let out our like stress, and or a place that we can go to kind of like be like a stress-free zone, and we can just talk about like what's going on in our lives. Like, I want this to be a place where we can all go to, like, talk about things that we love, and if something is bothering you, you could talk about it. You know what I mean? I could be here for you. Like, that's what I want this place to be. That's what I want this channel to be. This is literally a family here. So I'd love, again, if you guys would come join the fam. If you're new here to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here yet again, a part of the family. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation. That's my, like, that's, like, literally what the Heroverse is about, is spreading love, positivity, and motivation. And guys, yet again, we are almost to 700 subscribers. That is the goal. Right now, I think we're at 680, almost to 700 subscribers. That is the goal. So if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, put in notifications, like this video. Let me know also that you're new here down in the comments below, and I'll welcome you to the fam. But yet again, guys, that was the video. Hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday for Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 5. Peace.